Starring Drew Harrison and Will Abeles.
Welcome back to the one and only My Funny Friends. I am very awake, very much here, very present, feeling good. I'm Will Abeles, and I'm here with my co-host who refuses to get an email with me because he doesn't trust the content that we would get. Drew Harrison. Hi, Drew.
Hey, buddy. No, I just know you'd never check it, and that'd be another thing I'd have to check.
I would check it. I love notifications. It makes me feel like someone cares about me. Like last night, I wish I had a couple of notifications that popped up and people paid attention to.
I really want to get into last night because you were currently at the Asheville Comedy Festival with some other comics.
I want to laugh your Asheville off.
Hey, I want to get our guests in real quick because I want them to chime in on this story you're about to drop on.
I can't wait.
Two very funny friends of both of ours. This is nice when we get the crossover, when we get the two. We both of us know the people, but not one but two guests this week.
Hey.
We got very funny Jordan Huggins and Spencer Bland.
Hello.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hello.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey,
nips,
right
baby.
from the
Right,
get-go.
dude. Jordan's got the sexiest nipples I've ever seen
Look
in my
at
life.
that.
Shit, where did you get those? Was that eBay?
It's wild.
Here's the thing, dude. I got nipples. I don't have areolas. That's
Here's
Ah.
the thing.
See, I got too much areolas.
I
Yeah.
hope
Yeah.
Jordan. I
I'm a
hope
fan.
Jordan's mom
Yeah,
has the
too
exact
much.
same nipples. Because if they do, those would be the best tits in the world.
Wow.
They've got it.
Starting off hot.
Here's the thing. I've seen Jordan's dad shirtless. Doesn't have the same nipples. So genetics means that his mom has to have those nipples.
Interesting.
This just shows how much thought you put behind this.
I don't
yeah.
think that's not how it works. Not everything's a Punnett square, dude. You know?
Yeah, that's how genealogy. That's literally what a Punnett square is. That's how
Well, I
genealogy
guess
works.
Well, so if it's not your mom, then it'd be your grandma, right? So your grandma
Yeah.
probably has some
Geez.
pretty
Maybe
fantastic
grandpa.
nipples.
Jordan,
Oh,
I'm
my
sorry
grandpa.
that this
grandpa.
went terrible
Oh.
for you. I'm
He
so
just
sorry.
died, so we'll never know. I should.
No,
have
we can-
fucking-
Oh,
let's
well, sorry.
let's dig him up and look at them nips. You know,
Let's nip him up and look at
can
this
you
big,
can you
dude.
imagine if we did have like fuck you money and we went to the graveyard and we were like, hey, we got to exhume the body, and they're like, what for?
And the show,
Yeah.
this is like it's on True TV.
Yeah.
It's an actual show that they put money behind. Where it's like, today we're gonna dig Jordan's grandfather to see if he has the same nips.
We got to see those
Check it
nips.
Oh man,
Well,
And then
I
it's
love-
like a freeze frame, like, and then it's a 2-part video because right at the end of the first video, it's just like I like peel the shirt back and I look up and like, and then freeze frame. Tune in, part 2.
all that just to find out that it is Jordan's mom that has the good nipples.
Yeah.
All this leads back to your mom having the same nipples.
She
That's
calls
yeah.
in and she's like upset. She's like, "Why did you do that? I could have just showed you." And it's like, "Mom."
Oh, stop. My friends are watching. All right. Well, Will, you're
Yeah, I want to get into this.
Here, you're in Asheville, North Carolina.
I am.
I love that city.
A cool
Great city.
Fun time.
4 hours.
I'm
from
actually
us.
very connected to the city now in a deep way.
What's I mean, in a nature way, some might say. So tell us how the festival's been going, and B, the events that led to you
Okay, before I get to
sleeping outside last night.
before I get to the actual, so I'm not even in the festival. This is the fun part.
Oh, you're not in the festival.
I'm not
You're
in the
just hanging
festival.
out.
I'm here helping a friend navigate the Asheville Comedy Festival. I'm here underneath Will Abel's Entertainment Management Company. No, it's
Whoa.
not.
Oh. You're
Actually,
there
I made that
so
joke on
we-
Instagram, and I've gotten way too many DMs from comics being like, "Are you actually managing people now?" I was like, based on the story I'm about to tell, if I was managing comics, it doesn't sound like it's going to go great. No. So anyway, last night, our good dear friend Fiona Colley, who I'm here helping out and helping her navigate.
We're getting a
But
weather
hold on.
change from Jordan.
Hold on. What is
right now.
Jordan?
Loving
What the
this.
fuck are you doing?
This is what
I just
He sent me a
changing shirts.
list. He has
Why are you
wardrobe
ch-
changes.
Why are you
throughout the
changing
show.
shirts in the
Was this on
middle
the
of the
writer?
podcast?
I don't want to hold on. I don't want to take away from Will's story. I was recording TikToks and I like to change shirts to imitate that I'm filming on different days.
But the fact that you're like, it's a good time to do this in the middle of this story while I'm on camera with 4 other people.
Because of the shirt, we're gonna let it slide though.
This is gonna be a good kit. This is gonna be a good clip for you guys.
Like if you
I'll see.
switched
You're-
into
he's
any other
thinking big
shirt, I'd
picture.
be a little upset.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
That
content.
shirt.
I'm in the
Yeah.
clouds. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay. You're hired on Will Abel's Entertainment. You are now a social media director. I can't pay you with money. I can pay you in mulch and exposure.
There you
I
go.
love that. Okay.
It's
I
not
need
fresh
that.
mulch either. It's old
Even
mulch.
threw in the mulch.
Old last season mulch.
It's last season mulch that somehow made it into a drain and somehow became a wonderful bed. So, Fiona had her spot at the Asheville Comedy Festival last night. She had her spot on the theater show. So she does her thing, crushes. We all go out afterwards, and she has some friends in town. And I look at one of her friends, and I'm like, "Hey, you got this?" Because I'm pretty tired. I'm going to go to bed. She's like, "Yeah." So I'm looking at my phone, walking back. Not that far. It's not that far from where the after party is. But I just wasn't paying attention where I was walking, and I'm looking around. I'm like, "Oh shit, I went the wrong direction." So renavigate, get back. Cannot remember the code to get in. So I text Fiona. Fiona doesn't answer me.
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming everyone's asleep. So I'm like trying to get in. Can't
Are you
get
knocking?
in.
Are you ringing doorbells? Like, what are you doing?
There's no doorbells to ring. It's
Okay.
an Airbnb. You don't put doorbells on an Airbnb. That'd be a nightmare. Because if
God, that
I would go
would
back
be.
to every Airbnb I've ever had and I'd ring their doorbell if I could.
And this is why you had to sleep outside because Carmen.
And so then I was like, fuck, I think I have to sleep outside. So went around the back, found a nice quiet spot, got myself into a nice little shirt tent. And unfortunately, I slept really well for about 4 hours.
Did you wake up with anyone like dropped any like vital supplies or change near you?
No, because I was I found a very private spot.
Okay.
you didn't want anyone calling the cops. I guess.
Yeah.
Good call.
No,
Good
and the
call.
funny part is like around 6:30, maybe 7:00, I finally was like, yeah, okay, I gotta go do something. So I went to go to a coffee shop and I walked out and right across the street is a cop sitting there. And I was like, I'm dressed normally. He's not gonna know what I just did.
Were you wearing
You
what you're wearing
slept
right
in
now?
the backyard.
Sorry?
Were you wearing what you're wearing right now?
No. I was wearing
Okay.
a t-shirt and jeans.
Because right now you look
This
like
is my comfort blanket. This was me being like,
Oh, okay.
I got
'Cause
inside
right now
and they
you
were
do
like,
look
"Where
like a
have you
guy."
been?" And I
My
was
man
like,
said
I've been
comfort
outside for
blanket.
11 hours. And they're like, what is wrong
That's
with you?
wild.
Why didn't you knock on the window? Why didn't you call us on Facebook, Instagram caller? I was like, I didn't think about any of those.
Yeah, I would have been beating on windows, man.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping outside, man. I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Someone's waking up.
I'm very polite. That's the problem. Is I'm very polite.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I am out of the loop. Is Fiona a friend or is that your partner or what?
Fiona's a friend of ours.
Okay,
But she's in a wheelchair, so she needs a little help sometimes. And
gotcha. Okay, cool.
yeah, and an odd amount. She gets some pretty creepy dudes come out of the
Yeah.
woodwork.
I
I
can
did a
imagine.
show with her. I did a
I
show
can
with her and
imagine.
some dude
Yeah.
kissed her
Yeah.
on the forehead.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What? Like unannounced?
Yeah.
Dude, we really are the worst, aren't we?
Yeah.
Guys.
Dudes are
just
terrible.
Dude,
fucking
yeah.
There was a
creepy,
guy.
dude.
We
So
did a
creepy, man. He had a support dog too.
Ugh. I don't even know what it does to that dog. We did a show last night at an improv theater, and it's such a good spot, but the crowd every time there is just so weird because it's like they pull an improv crowd and it's an open mic, but this old motherfucker got on stage and he had an iPad.
Dude, he just was.
He had an iPad with the tilt fold out thing that he put on the stool next to him, and the crowd didn't know, but he was just reading Facebook memes in a good cadence. He had stage presence, but
Right.
dude, so dumb. And then he went on this tirade where he was like, everything's PC. I can't say these words anymore. And then he went on to say 3 words you shouldn't be allowed to say. He didn't say the N word, but he said 3, and it was
Yeah.
it was just insane. I was like, God,
What
You
is
never-
wrong with people, man?
you never have to worry about an old woman getting on stage and doing that. It's always
Yeah.
A
when I
creepy
see-
dude. Yeah.
when I see an old guy get on stage, I'm like, this guy, please
It's gonna
don't
be
say
bad.
Don't say the N word. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like,
Yeah. Well, we always like to kick it off with you guys are both now back in North Carolina, but did y'all both start out doing comedy in North Carolina?
yeah, at different times. I started in Greenville.
Yeah.
Matt
those
White.
were good old days.
Yeah, man. Matt White. I ran into Matt White in an IHOP, and he got me. He conned me into doing comedy. I did my first open mic in like 2011 because I remember I was 21 years old.
Wait, how did he? Hold on, can we go back to the IHOP for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's like scouting young, aspiring comics in an IHOP, or did
No,
you
I
know?
think it's like I was
Hey
in a church.
kid, hey kid, you look a little non-traditionally attractive.
Yeah.
And I think you'd be good on stage.
Hey, you look like you're sad, and you know how to deliver that sadness in an interesting way.
Hey
Well,
kid,
yeah,
you're the
I'd
heaviest.
explain.
You're the heaviest kid in this group of high school
Yeah.
teenagers. You probably have to.
You probably had to
love it.
cope with that through
That sounds like
humor.
this old Brooklyn dude too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Hey,
It's
kid.
like we're in Greenville,
Matt
North
doesn't-
Carolina. Hey, bud.
No, I was there with like a church group, and this was in college because I was a loser, and Matt was like pretty trashed, and I think he was just going around talking to people because he was like that level of drunk, and there was only like 7 people in the IHOP, and I can't remember why, but we were wearing like fake mustaches, and he thought that was funny, and then he was like, "These guys are funny, fake mustaches." Fake mustaches, what a goof, you know. Yeah, then he just talked me into like that's back when he was doing seriously clowning.
Seriously clowning, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh my
And-
God, I remember that.
We had
Yeah.
Jared Waters on last week.
Oh,
and,
that's
he was
crazy,
talking about
dude.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
cool to see how those of us that stuck with it are funny.
Yeah. Good old tipsy teapot days.
God, dude,
Tipsy, dude. Wow,
just
that's crazy.
abused that place as an open mic venue.
I started out of spite
Yeah.
because Spencer started.
Yeah,
We were
That's right.
like, yeah.
Jordan. I think Jordan had already left. Excuse me, not left. Jordan had
You
been.
started.
Jordan had
you
been
were-
hold on. Jordan had been lawfully removed from the city of Greenville,
Interesting.
and
I was evicted, and my dad had to cover my remaining rent. And then
Greenville
Yeah.
does that to you, man.
The caveat was that he was like, "You got to get your life together, and
Yeah.
you're gonna move to Charlotte. You're gonna move to Charlotte." So
So how long have y'all known each other?
almost 10. I think it's been like 10 years, something like that.
Did y'all
Definitely-
meet in college?
No, dude, it's like 12,
That's insane. I hate
12
that.
or 13. You know what? though?
Jordan and I met at a Bible study. So
I can tell you the exact date that we met because
no, we
it's
can't.
the-
We tried to figure it out. Remember, we couldn't. We just had that. There's that one Facebook photo of us at like a Mexican restaurant that made everyone think we were gay.
I just love out of context. Like if we just turned everything off and just grabbed that clip, it was like, nah, man, we got that one Facebook.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh, actually, it's not on Spotify.
What is it on Spotify?
The oldest
The
episode.
playlist y'all made for each
Oh
other?
no,
It
our
is.
friendiversary. My
Yeah,
bad.
it's there.
We say 12/9/09.
2009,
So
yeah.
December 9th,
That's
So I-
2009.
At a
Oh,
Bible study.
I was running a Bible study at my apartment with the other losers that I lived with. Sorry if
you're
they're
serious about this.
for like a year. Honestly, dude, I was just trying to have sex with
we
this
used
girl
to
at
we
this
used
church.
to lay hands on each other.
Yeah.
You know, words of prayer.
But
and
here's the
affirmation.
thing: is that at the root of it all, I was doing it to meet a woman.
Same.
Like I was
As
like,
as Jesus intended.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
trying to find my
Maybe
Mary
Jesus was out there
Magdalene.
just trying to get laid. He was like, "You want to see some water?"
I was
Now it's
yeah.
fine, baby.
On the inside, I was like, oh, or on the outside, I was like, God is doing wonderful things for everyone here in Greenville, North Carolina. But on the inside, I was like, you know, whatever wonderful thing He could do for me, let me get laid.
Give me that moist.
Yeah,
I was doing it actually for the same reason but I'd already met a girl and she was into that and I was like,
She
well, I
pulled
guess
you
I'm
in.
into it right now too.
Yeah.
So,
Oh wow. Okay.
but Spencer started a little bit. You like did it like a year or two before I did it, and then
Like
kind
sporadically,
of didn't do it.
yeah.
Yeah, sporadically.
Well,
And then you
yeah.
got super serious into it to the point that like I was living in Charlotte.
yeah.
We were talking about doing it. You got back into it. because you were like, "Oh, I'm graduating. I'm moving to New York," and I was like,
should have done that.
I was like, "You're moving to New York to do comedy?" And I was like, "Have you ever done comedy?" And because I didn't know that he'd been doing it, and then he was like,
"This
well,
is like before
like,
Instagram and everything." Yeah.
People didn't know
And so
your
he was-
entire lives if they didn't talk to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe a
So I
YouTube
started in Charlotte, but I also had that weird thing, Spencer. I don't even remember. I started in Charlotte and was like really committed. I've never taken a break from comedy other than the pandemic. I started and I'm just like weekly I'm doing it. There was a moment where I was like, I stumbled again in Charlotte. I was like,
What do you mean
at school or whatever. I just mean like,
Life stumbled.
life stumbled. Like
Yeah,
I was life stumbling in Greenville and then moved to Charlotte and was on a good upward trajectory. But then I like kind of like found comedy and was like fumbling in school again. And then I worked at a summer camp for several summers in a row. And that summer camp is in Arapahoe, which is outside of New Bern. And I would drive up to Greenville to do comedy there. And so there was this weird moment where like, even though I started in Charlotte and was doing it there, I was kind of being in Greenville and Wilmington doing comedy.
So many ties,
dude.
Yeah, Greenville comics, man. A lot of ties there.
Yeah. And then I've quit comedy like 3 or 4 times since then.
And you're back.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
So,
I think I left. I was in New York and I got hella depressed. And I moved out of New York mostly because I didn't have any money left and I hated my job up there. And I was like pretty depressed. And I remember I went to one open mic in Raleigh. This would have been summer of 2013. And I went to one open mic and I signed up and was there for maybe 30 minutes and saw what was going on. And I was like, I'm going to kill myself. I got to leave this place. And I just went home, had new comedy again for like 2 years.
Well, I mean, that's good. You knew you needed to step away from it, though.
Yeah.
Like I was just telling someone about, like they were talking about like bad open mics. Like I was with a couple comics the other night and like we were just talking about bad open mics. And it was funny, like talking about bad open mics in the South and just basically anywhere but New York versus bad open mic in New York. And they were like, yeah, man, there was like this really bad mic where like you would sign up at 6 and then no one could get on by 8. And I was like, there's a mic in New York that like they put the list at noon. And if you show up at the time of the mic to sign up, you were like 65th in the list.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah.
And you stayed like a lunatic and you went up at like 1 a.m.
No.
You know, I was like,
No.
I was like, it's not the same kind of bad.
Yeah. I remember doing there was a mic that I would do like, I think it was like Fridays after work. I can't remember where it was, but I remember Zach Swan hosted it.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys remember.
Bungusden, dude.
Bungusden, thank you.
On
14th.
All right.
And they did it like
that.
They did like 5 groups of comics. It was like 5 groups of like 15 comics or something. And it was brutal, dude. And I went up, the first time I did it, he put me up dead last. And it was Zach Swan, the person co-hosting with him, and me in there. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Like why even say words right now?
Yeah.
I remember like people getting in fights at Pine Box because they used to do the groups.
Yeah.
Like first tier, second tier, third tier. And I never made it the first tier. I was like third tier for a while, made the second tier, and I was like, I'll take that. That's a victory in my mind.
Yeah.
Getting second tier to do 3 minutes of new material. But I remember like, I forget who it was, but this like woman going ape shit for not getting in the first tier, like going up to the host and like screaming in their face, being like, what's wrong with you? What? And I was like, this is an open mic. Like, this is an open mic.
Were y'all around when they did that at Good Nights? The 2 tiers?
Oh, yeah. I was around when they would
see some people blow up on that.
Dude, I remember the host used to go up. They'd have the regular open mic, and then the host would go up and be like, all right, y'all having fun? Well, get ready, because these next comics suck ass at comedy, and would just bury the next people. He would be like, they're the worst motherfuckers. These half-retarded nimwits are going to come up here and try their jokes. Yeah. And then it'd be like, I remember I was like the first comic after he said that one time, and I just came up and I was like, okay, hi. Like,
yeah. I was always in that group too, you know.
I can't remember who it was, man. It was like, because it wasn't anyone that's still doing comedy around here today, but it was just like, it was like whoever, was it Brad Reeder that was like hosting it then? I don't know who it was, but it was like whoever was calling the shots was like
Kirby.
I actually, it may have been Kirby. I remember the first time I ever did the Good Nights mic, I drove with Matt, and Kirby's fat ass was sitting outside, and he was like, oh, yeah, I'll see if I can get you on. And then goes up and continues to do his like 25-minute HBO 80s radio set.
Yeah, dude. I hated
Hell
him
yeah.
with all of that.
He
He's
fucking
he's
sucked,
got to
dude.
be dead at this
Oh,
point.
I'm sure he died in like 2013. He had to.
Yeah.
That guy looked like death in 2011. So
Will, where did you start comedy? Oh, wait, you're from Connecticut? I remember I did.
no,
your-
Jordan, we're the guests. This is about us.
I did. I did Will's your virtual "Hey, it's a comedy show" for your whole family.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
You were
that
back
For
in.
your whole family.
Hey, wait, no, I know where you're from. Proud of Hagerstown, dude.
There it is.
Hagerstown, baby. But I
Hagerstown,
started comedy
yeah.
in Boston. That's where I started.
Where's Hagerstown
okay.
at though? What
Maryland?
state?
Pennsylvania, right?
Maryland, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
You know what's funny? There's actually
Something told me to ask that. I was like, I don't think he knows.
But a lot of people think it's Pennsylvania. There's
It's a very
town
Pennsylvania
in Nashville who'll be
name.
like,
It
"Oh,
is
fly
a
to
Pennsylvania."
Pennsylvania." And I'm like, "What? Why?"
You
does it-
strike me as a Pennsylvania guy.
I like people. I have a good soul. I'm not from Pennsylvania.
I didn't say
There's a
Pittsburgh.
Hagerstown in
I
Indiana,
said
too.
Pennsylvania.
There's Hagerstown, Indiana, and actually,
I
funny
could see
enough,
you being from Indiana.
Hagerstown, Indiana is currently in the Little League World Series. The last time Hagerstown was in the World Series was 2008. My dad coached it. So there was Hagerstown, Maryland's been in 2008 World Series.
I've been watching the Little League World
Oh.
Series a little bit,
Hagerstown,
and
Indiana's in.
they've shouted out Hagerstown, Maryland at least
Ah.
twice.
Yeah, my dad.
Wow.
Like y'all are a legacy at this point.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we
Yeah.
changed. ESPN changed the rules of Little League World Series after our team because they were so upset we got knocked out. I had nothing to do with it. I don't know
Wow.
anything we, besides the fact that I got to have a house to myself at 19 for a summer.
Oh, that was
That's,
bad.
that's honestly the best age to have a house to yourself at.
Yeah, my mom always locked the doors and took my key and told me to figure out where I was staying.
Got a drinking citation. It was great.
Yeah. All right, Jordan. How about you? Starting out North Carolina, going to Greenville, hanging out, and you did a stint in New York as well, right?
Yeah, that's
I
where we
did,
were.
yeah. I was also just trying to look up other famous people from Hagerstown, Maryland. Just to
Oh,
Eli Drake,
who's
the,
the real
wrestler.
Pride?
Eli
The
Drake's
wrestler.
from Hagerstown. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, LA Knight.
I drink.
LA Knight. the
LA
wrestler.
Knight. Oh, okay, yeah.
His dad
Jordan,
had-
you don't know who the fuck that is. Shut up.
His name's
know,
now
I
Max
know.
Dupree.
yeah.
Is it? Oh, he changed his name again.
Yeah, he's leading a group of male models. Because
Maximum
wrestling,
Male Model Agency.
because
His
wrestling
dad-
is the
his dad
last good
a
art
music
form.
teacher at the public school or something like that. And then actually, real not to say real wrestling, but
Oh,
Aaron
whoa,
Brooks.
hey, whoa, hey.
I know, but Aaron Brooks.
Aaron
the,
Brooks.
NCAA. Yeah, he used to date my sister.
That's pretty tight.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Started in Charlotte, had that weird stint where I was bouncing around Eastern North Carolina, escaping responsibility. I was working at a summer camp when I was a little bit too old to be working at a summer camp. That was fun because like a couple times each week, there were campers there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 4 weeks. So because of the turnover of like the weekly campers, they would do a talent show every week.
Okay.
Or they would do it like every other week. And a couple times I tried to do stand up, which
As
is
a kid.
brutal, dude.
Yeah.
So I think I tried actual stand up the first time, and then the second time people were like that. I was like, that did not feel good. That was terrible. I
Yeah.
never want to do that again. And then a couple weeks later, people were like, "Oh, you should try that again." Some of the other counselors and coworkers. And so I ended up just doing Andy Kaufman's Mighty Mouse bit, which was great. And so it was like the "Here I Come to Save the Day," where you
Yeah.
only do it on that part, so you stand still for the whole time. But then I moved back to Charlotte. So I did comedy in Charlotte for like 3 years from starting to like moving to New York. And then I was in New York for like 5 years and then moved back here in 2021.
You were 20 Weren't you a 2020 guy?
2020? 2020 guy. I was
Remember-
early, yeah.
Yeah,
I
because I remember
was
you
the
having
year
like a
of the
Facebook
pandemic.
post that I really connected to. Like, I remember you being like, I'm going back to North Carolina, but here's why, and this is it. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, all right, cool, all right.
So he got trapped here. We hung out. They came
Yeah.
down for like
Yeah.
like a little staycation weekend with my now wife and
In Charlotte, actually, yeah.
yeah, we all went to Charlotte with our significant others before they were our wives. Yeah, I think it was like you guys were about to fly back, and then you kind of looked at what was going on and
Yeah.
just decided like, we're gonna stay here.
Stay here,
Let's
yeah.
wait it out.
Nah.
Yeah,
So
let's wait it out. They're still waiting it out. So
Yeah. It was it was like March 14th or whatever. And then I think Cuomo shut the state down on like the 17th. That's
Yeah.
Monday. So we flew back to Charlotte or actually I was back all week with you, working remote. doing shows. And then Sunday we were supposed to fly out. And then Melissa, my wife, she was just like, I don't really feel comfortable because it was like rumored that Cuomo was going to shut the state down. And then luckily her family, we were in Charlotte. Her mom lives in Greensboro, which is like an hour north. She let us stay there for a month or two. So we just like never went back to New York.
Right.
We didn't plan on moving. We made the decision. Like we stayed in Greensboro for like a month. And then we got super lucky because our grandfather owns a place in Wilmington on Water Street downtown.
Yeah.
And it was empty at the time. And he was like, you guys can stay there until you figure out what you're going to do. And it was while we were there that we just like, it was actually really sad. We were like both in the bathroom. I was like showering and she was just like, we were getting ready for bed. And she was like, I don't know if you thought about this, but I don't think that we can go back. And because it was like May, our lease ended in June. And we were trying to figure out what to do. And so it was hard, but then we went back and moved down in June. And I think that's probably when I made that Facebook post. And I appreciate you saying that because like when I was writing it, I was like, this is for nobody other than me. And a lot of people,
I feel like a lot of people probably connect to that. Yeah.
I'm glad that makes me happy because a lot of people, I feel like I saw some of those posts and then we saw the counter of those posts, which is like new people from New York, from the Northeast were like, we don't fucking care if you're leaving. And I was like, well, actually you're a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that because it was like, it was hard. And like, I moved to New York with all these comedy goals and achieved none of those comedy goals.
Right.
In fact, I moved with a set of goals, had to hedge myself and like take, I was like, oh, these goals are way too lofty. I have to like kind of pull them back.
Some more
I didn't
realistic.
even
Good old comedy.
Right.
Second level goals, you know?
Yeah. I feel like people rallying around that post that you made, it was like whatever the opposite of the real one's post was, that was it. It was like, I don't know. But like if you stayed in, like people were like, my grandmother, I live with my grandmother, she would have died if I stayed in New York, you know, like
There
was like really practical reasons for like people leaving me. Like also rent's still absolutely insane. They didn't change anything about the city.
That's what kills me, that made paying me feel that better. Much to live that miserable. You know,
dude, I paid $1,100 and I lived in a room that was 6.5 feet by 9 feet.
Nah,
the room you are currently in is bigger.
No.
Yeah, the room I'm currently in would have been an awesome bedroom in New York. I would have stayed up there longer, probably.
I mean, all this being said, I would go back in a heartbeat and pay that. It's the best city in the fucking world. Raleigh sucks. It's actually, I really like Raleigh, but it's the best city ever.
I mean,
and there's a premium, and if you can't afford the premium, get out, dude. And I did. So.
Well, you were also part of who else went down? Harrison Tweed came down too, right? Like he went back.
Harrison Tweed, Julie Mitchell.
And Julie. Yeah, I saw Julie. Yeah,
she just moved back to New York.
Okay.
Jordan Fisher was here for a minute too.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Randomly ran into him at Greensboro Comedy Zone during all of this.
Yeah.
Harrison and I actually we knew each other beforehand, but we connected a little bit during 2020 because his girlfriend's mom was living in Frederick, which is a town over from Hagerstown.
Oh, okay.
So he was coming between North Carolina and Frederick a lot. So I ended up throwing an outdoor show at my parents' house, and Harrison headlined it. Yeah, because he was like in town, so he was like, yeah.
Oh, so is Hagerstown's like Frederick? It's like close, not far outside of DC. Is it like a?
No, it's like an hour and a half north of DC and like an hour and 15 minutes west of Baltimore. Like it's like right on 80 and 70.
Gotcha.
81 and 70. So like a lot of bands in Nashville, like I'll mention Hagerstown because I always think no one knows it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll mention it to bands and they're all like, oh yeah, you got the Waffle House off the highway. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, yeah, we always stop there when we're touring. I'm like, oh, cool, all right. Yeah.
As long as you got a Waffle House, we'll remember.
Good.
It's a good Waffle House.
So then you guys both ended up back in Raleigh through different ways. And so tell us how this wildly successsul podcast Bop or Flop came about.
You got any children that listen to this podcast?
Just Will. That's all.
Let's see. Jordan.
I don't listen to the podcast. What are you talking about?
That's okay. Jordan doesn't listen to ours either. Jordan and his wife were trapped in there at Jordan's in-laws, and I think just really
We
having
were
a
in
rough.
Wilmington,
You were in Wilmington. I thought you were.
and we came up for.
Oh,
weekend
you had been
safety
you
guys.
had been pushed out by the guy
Yeah.
with the cardboard cutout Trump.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think we came up to look at places actually in Raleigh.
yeah. And they came over here. They stayed at our place for the weekend, and one of my neighbors had given me acid.
Trigger
And-
warning.
Oh, I don't think
Drugs.
acid's a trigger.
No, yes,
And then
Thanks either way. I mean,
Yeah. Trigger warning. We had a lot of fun. Sorry, something was going on with my computer. Yeah, so we took a tab of acid and then didn't really feel it, so we took another tab of acid.
classic acid story, dude. It's
Yeah.
just like
really
And
is
then-
like,
and
yeah,
then went
30
to
minutes later.
And then went to one of my neighbor's house, who was the one who provided the acid, to like just hang out and talk and chill. And then apparently took more there, which we don't remember, and was just deep in it. And then we were like hanging out in our backyard looking at the stars. And I think I said something along the lines of like, man, I wish I could like recreate the feeling when you first listen to a song. Like, that first part where you hear a song for the first time and you're like, oh, this fucking
It's my
rules.
jam.
Yeah, because I think there was a song playing. I forgot what the playlist was.
Yeah.
I actually have it. I have a playlist called "For the Next Time You Do Acid," specifically for this. But it was a song that was playing, and it was like a song from your high school years. And
Yeah.
you were like, I would love to go back and experience songs for the first time. And then Melissa was like, that would be a great podcast.
No. Well, no. First thing she said was, "That's just a playlist." Yeah. And then we started like getting into it more, and Jordan's wife was like, yeah, that sounds like a cool podcast idea. And then I don't know how we turned it into what it is. It was just through like other things of trial and error. But what's crazy is like when we came up with the idea, it didn't exist. And then it took us like 4 or 5 months to actually like get gear, refine the idea, come up with a name, all that stuff.
Come up
And
with
then-
the energy to sit down and talk and record. And
Yeah. And then when we finally did that, another group had started a podcast with the same name, but not the same not the same idea.
Yeah.
It was still called, but it was still called Bopper Flop.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's
like
why
three things popped up. It was
that's
like
why-
Bopper Flop podcast, and then Spencer got Bopper Flop pod.
Yeah, so technically we are
Interesting.
Bopper Flop Pod, like if you're searching on, but I guess there's like all these little like TikTok teens doing Bopper Flop videos for like everything. But if you Google Bopper Flop, we show up first, which is tight.
Yeah, there's like,
awesome.
and you know how teens like to Google things.
Yeah.
There's an account on TikTok that has like, if not 1 million, they're at like 700, 800,000.
They got a lot.
And
Yeah.
their videos get like a couple million views, but it's like Bopper Flop Donald Trump, Bopper Flop,
Yeah, they're like out on
Bopper
the,
Flop Roe v. Wade or something.
Got it.
Stuff like
Yeah,
this.
they're like out on the
Got it.
street
Okay.
talking to
Yeah.
people, but
Man on the street.
And it's some kid
Yeah.
with perfect teeth.
yeah, it's some
Yes.
hot Gen Z bitch.
Yeah,
Fucking
they're like, do you shave
Seiko
your
or
chest?
whoever.
Like, how do you look like that?
Dude, I found out there's you guys, I know Jordan follows them, but there's an Instagram account called Catatonic Youths, and
Okay.
they post terrible music videos. I mean, it's a hilarious follow.
I do enjoy
Like,
a bad
Dude,
music
it
video.
is. I highly recommend following them, but he posts a lot of other random stuff in his stories, mostly like little Gen Z kids being like, ever heard of this song?
And it's like Shaggy.
Yeah, it's like literally.
yeah.
But there's one kid who just has the most punchable face in the world, and it's like every angle's from him, like over here, and he's like, "Here's songs that you listened to in high school that fucking bang."
Oh,
And he's like to like every fucking song. It's so cringe. He's
it's
hot
like
as
those
shit.
DJs
He's
before
hot
we
as
did
hell
comedy
too,
in
which is so
Charleston.
frustrating. But Catatonic Youth like played one of his videos and then posted the next thing. He was like in the Israeli military because I guess he's like a little little
Wait, so
Jew.
everyone, if you're Israeli, you have to like everyone joins the military, right?
Yeah. So he's like a little
Yeah,
Israeli
yeah.
kid. So it's
Jesus.
just fucking insane. He was in like
Yeah.
the Israeli youth military or something. But
That's
Dude,
Got his time.
we recently did comedy in Charleston at a day club.
I don't want to talk about
tight.
I don't want to talk about this.
No, I'm not going to say how the.
I'd rather talk
I'm
about
just talking
sleeping in the
about
mulch again than
beforehand.
talk about this.
But the DJs before we had to follow EDM DJs too.
Oh hell yeah!
And they would take turns. One would play the music, and the other one would stand beside the other one.
And they're both just like next to each other, like.
And then they'd be like, "All right, your turn."
And people are losing their minds. And then they were like, "And like we were supposed to do."
And
comedy.
up next, comedy.
Dude,
We were supposed to do comedy at 3 p.m., but the DJs showed up late, so it didn't start till like 6. And then like everyone at that point, like if they were on drugs or not, were just like burned out, left. And then I'm trying to compete with them. Like they give us like this little speaker system, and like I'm on a balcony.
Don't let him lie to you. Will turned on the crowd. Will turned hard.
I turned hard.
He got
I called one man the
by...
hairiest man I've ever seen. I was like, "You're the hairiest man I've ever seen. I don't know how you're with that woman. She's so hot, and you are so gross to look at." Like, I mean, it was
a Snooki impersonator almost beat him up. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I called someone the dumbest person I've ever met. And then her friend came up and was like, "I heard you were talking shit on me." And I was like, "No, I was talking shit on your friend." But I was like, "No, I was like, I can honestly say I was not talking about you." And then she was just like, "Well, why don't you say it to my face?" And I was like,
I can't wait.
I just want to go home.
Yeah,
dude, like, we're making $100 each. This is not
comedy and music just should not ever be combined. Like I know
comedy's got to go first.
It's got to go first. If it
have
is
to be
combined,
the greatest comic of all time.
Like, dude, Sam Mazzani and I did a.
I love Sam.
Yeah, we did R.I.P. his comedy career. I don't know if you know he stopped doing comedy.
Did he really? Is he happy?
I think he is actually, which is good.
So that's actually Sam was really funny.
He was hilarious, man. It's
Sam Mazzani stopped like for real.
Last time I talked to him, he was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty much done." He's like doing a lot of screenwriting and stuff. So still.
Oh, okay. So he's still like doing something creative.
Yeah.
Sam had that really funny post. That was another one where like the Real Ones thing came out where it was like, and Sam tweeted out like, "Me standing in front of the knitting factory, everyone's dead except for me. And I can't get books still. And I just stand outside." It was like, "But I'm a real one."
But he and I did, or like he got booked for the show and I did a guest spot, but it was at this like shitty, dingy pool hall in Raleigh. And it was like NC State's Russian campus outreach. So it's just a bunch of like fucking Ruski kids. And I'm talking tracksuits and change. Like it was as stereotypically Russian as you could get. Okay. And the guy who booked him was like a Russian rapper, and he was supposed to go after the comedy. But we got there and he's like, "Hello, my friend. I am just feeling the music tonight, so I'm going to go before, and then you will do the jokes, and then I will also go after." So like he got up there and was like, "La la foshka bak, blah la hala," like doing this like weird Russian rap, and then he was like, "Okay, everyone, who's ready for some funny ha-has in the room?" Dude, it was so wild. It was also it bombed so hard, but it was also weird because like in a strange connection, the owner of North Carolina's soccer team was there, definitely with a prostitute, sex worker.
This really is basically the plot of the third season of Eastbound and Down. It
was crazy, and like he and I feel like he was there because he was like, "No one is going to recognize me here," you know, like
right.
He's like, I'm surrounded by Russian youths, like at a dingy pool hall, and we're in a group, and I was like, "Hey," because he had just bought the team, and I was like, "Hey man, really excited for what." I went up to him and I was like, "Dude, really excited for what you're gonna do with the team," and he was like, "Yeah, cool, man. I'm very excited for it. Good talk." Cool. Really good talking to
you. You don't know my wife.
Great. No, he just slowly was backing away, and then he literally just left.
What team? I don't know the team. What team are you talking about? I didn't
heard of the game of baseball. I'm a huge football fan. He's talking about soccer.
Yeah. So anyway, wow. I don't know how we got on that tangent, but
no, I loved it. That was
music and comedy. Yeah, shouldn't. They shouldn't be combined.
Well, I was very new.
What happens is you end up owning a baseball team and you go into a Russian club with a prostitute. Like that's why we can't do this. We have to stop this now.
I was very new to comedy, and I went to a pool party. And you know how at pool parties you're hanging out, day drinking, and you agree to stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And this band was having its anniversary party the next weekend, and I was talking to the guitar player. It's like, yeah, man, come on, we'll put you up first, and then we'll do our thing. And then it was that same situation where I get there, they're already playing, and then an hour and a half goes by. Should have left, but I didn't because I was only like 6 months in.
Yeah,
dude.
And
dude,
they pulled me up. Yeah, dude, they pulled me up, and as soon as that, you just heard, "Put the music back on."
Yeah, dude.
Oh man, dude. So one time, 2 years in a row, I went to Guatemala in Central America, and the first
we
time
know where
went,
Guatemala is, Jordan.
I didn't. Thank you for clarifying that one.
Well,
Drew's got
pointed out on a map. I went to Guatemala.
Ever heard of it?
And
the country.
The first time I went was with two buddies, and we spent time in Antigua, which is this lovely little town, kind of in the middle of Guatemala, and it's a big touristy town. And one night we were just bouncing around, and we came across this like cool restaurant, and they were doing an open mic. So they had a band and an open mic, and I did a set.
The band?
No, they did like an opening band.
Okay.
To like warm the crowd up, and then they did a full open mic. And
Wow,
so there was some it was a mixed mic too, kind of like the one in Evening Muse in Charlotte, if you're familiar with that, Drew. So they had music, they had like spoken word poetry, storytelling. They didn't have any comedy. I did comedy, and it went well. It went not terrible. But I'm setting it up. That is in my mind. I've done that mic once, and then I went to Guatemala like a year and a half later with a girlfriend at the time. We went back to that same restaurant. I prioritized it. I was like, "Oh, we're back here. I'm even more fully into comedy. I'm a better comedy."
Which is such a comedy brain to be like, dude, I'm on this wonderful vacation with my incredible girlfriend. Yes, we have to go to the open mic.
Let's do it, dude. And I'm like, I can't wait to do this mic again. And I had a good time. The first time we did it, I did well enough that the owner was there, and me and my friends got drunk with him. He gave us Jello shots and stuff. It was like the comedy story you want after.
Yeah, of course.
And then fast forward a year and a half, I'm back there with this girl, and we go to the same spot and the same mic. And I'm like in my riffing phase. I'm like fully jacking Rory Scovel style.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
And the opening band, and then so I sign up and I do it, and then I'm there, and I'm like, oh, there was a guitar, there was like a studio guitar player who was like playing backing for a lot of people. And I was like, hey man, do you mind hanging out here and playing during my set? I'm gonna do some jokes, because it'd been working well for me back home.
Sure.
And you just reminded me of this, because I was doing my set and I was bombing so hard that somebody yelled out music, but it was in Spanish. So they were calling for me to be done in Spanish. So they were like, musica, bring back the musica. And then so I just laughed. It was like so embarrassing. It was the two like complete opposite sets I could have at the exact same time.
At least you like realized what was happening. Like, I'm dumb enough and like just like enough of a narcissist that I've been like, oh, he's telling me he loves it, I'll keep going.
Well, that was the thing, is I saw the glaze go over Will's eyes that at that day club in Charleston, where I literally had to walk into his view like, come on, dude, please like, get us out.
Yeah, like Drew gave me the light. He just went, wrap it up.
Because I saw him dig in, and I was like,
yeah, he saw. I was like, I'm not going to lose this battle to these half naked people.
You were about to hate fuck these people.
That was the thing. We're performing to a pool. Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're like kind of talking about worse than that. Another show. We've all done weird shows, but I think one of the weirdest ones I've done was my buddy. I was living in New York. My buddy Jared.
I know you're going to talk about
Jared Krieger. He and I used to run a show of pianos in the Lower East Side.
Yeah, I did the piano show. I think that's actually how we got connected in the first place. Is you booked me for pianos, but you weren't there that time.
Yeah,
but it was a really fun time. It was like Tyler Rothrock, I think, was on it, and yeah.
Oh yeah, and it was good, and I felt we had a good thing. Clint Noor, R.I.P. Yep. And Jared Krieger. So the three of us ran the show together.
Yeah.
So Jared never really settled well in New York. He was always a good comic, but he moved back. Or no, he was in New York, but he was living down in like fucking Brighton Beach or something. And so one time before he moved to New York, he was living in Blacksburg, Virginia, I think, or something like just north of Danville a little bit.
Yeah.
Whatever's there.
Blacksburg was Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And so he was like living in kind of the middle of nowhere, and he was working at a bar, and so he made a lot of friends there because it's a small town. Same guys coming in after a golf, like they're going to golf on Sunday and then going to eat and grab drinks and stuff. So he developed this relationship with these guys to the point that he moved to New York, and they, for like 2 or 3 years in a row, they were hiring him to come back for this guy. This one guy was hiring him to come back for his like big summer pool party he did every year. So like the second year he did it, the guy was giving him like $500 to come back. So he was driving down from New York to Virginia the first year. The second year, he was like, give me a little bit more money, I'll bring another friend. And so we drove down, got a hotel room, and did this show in a backyard, just like on the pool. It was such a nice house, and on a golf course. There was a pool, and then there was like a raised platform where this guy would like have bands. And so we did this comedy show. I opened for Jared. I did like 15 to 20 minutes, and then Jared did like half an hour, and we did it. And then they were just like adults drinking, paying attention. It was a great show. Yeah. There's like 10-year-old kids floating in the pool in floaties and stuff.
Yep.
And then we got hammered afterwards. We were doing like, like flip cup and all kinds of stuff afterwards. So it was like really fun, but it was so like if I were to pitch that to you guys now and be like, hey, here's the deal, I want you to come down and do this, and there's no way we do it, right? Like it was just,
but it's always those shows that blow your mind, right? Like Alex Grubard.
Alex, I know the name, but
Alex hit me up once and was like, hey, let's do that. We're doing this holiday show. I do it every year. His now fiance, it was like her dad sets it up, and it's a holiday party for a extermination company in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, just like outside of Philadelphia, like one of those random towns. And you're going like they're paying you decently, but you're like, this is gonna suck. Mm-hmm. And it was one of the most fun shows I've ever had in my entire life.
I have one of those set up for tomorrow night, hopefully. Good old gig salad ? Where you don't know what you're walking into.
Oh yeah.
You've been doing gig salad.
I've been doing a few. I did a Sweet 16 birthday party.
What's the one tomorrow that I wasn't able to do with you?
It's a 30-year-old pool party, like a 30th birthday party at the pool. And this lady found me. She found me on YouTube, and then she said she liked my stuff. She was quoting jokes. She was like, I want you to do this joke and do that joke.
Oh, that's gonna feel pretty good.
Yeah. She got you for her birthday.
For her daughter's birthday.
For her daughter's birthday.
Because she said I talk about the things that her daughter complains about.
Oh,
gotcha. Okay.
That's fine. So her daughter is real confused about water towers then.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and doesn't understand Facebook.
Well, we'll tell everyone that I'm sorry that I have to decline the invitation. Yeah. I'll be busy, probably sleeping on the stadium.
Yeah. No, I got Allison Summers going with me, so we're good.
Wow, so that kind of hurts.
Is it around Nashville or?
Yeah, it's in Clarksville. It's like an hour away.
I can't believe how quickly you replaced me. I'm gonna have to process.
The show's got to go on.
So
what do you want from me?
Yeah.
You said no. You got to have that next one ready, baby.
No,
it's showbiz, baby.
She's
it's
gonna
just fun. It's fun that that Spencer and I have met our counterparts.
Yeah.
And also on my screen, I'm like, I'm top right, Drew is top left. And then Spencer's bottom left and Will's bottom right. So we're like,
that's how it is on mine too.
On mine, we're on the top and you two are on the bottom for mine.
It's funny because you guys are wearing black and Jordan's kind of wearing white.
My God,
so
the alternate, the alternate.
Yeah. I realized, so I haven't showered since sleeping outside. I threw this sweatshirt on to warm myself up because I did feel like I was like, I might actually get sick. The funniest part is, I never took the freaking lanyard off.
Dude.
That's funny.
That's how you know you're at a festival.
Well, it's honestly smart if somebody finds you,
That's true.
Return me to this festival.
Yeah.
They tag Bottle Face Comedy.
Yeah.
They just see my dead body and they tag Asheville Comedy.
I feel like that's probably not foreign to Asheville either, is people sleeping outside.
Not at all.
What he's not
like to
telling
say-
you is it was a group thing. Like there's a lot of people in that backyard.
Yeah, Dirty Mike and the boys are with me.
Dirty Mike and the boys.
All right, so getting back to Bop or Flop. So what
Yeah.
what progressed from there? Like you had the idea, it took you a couple of months to get it down, get the gear. How did it really like kind of take off for you guys?
We started doing it, and our first episode got like a ton of downloads, which we were not expecting. But it was clearly just people who were like, "Oh, I'll check it out from these guys," because our second episode did not even like they tuned in and they were like, "Good for you," and then tuned out because I think it was like an 80% drop off from first
Well,
episodes.
I think, but you were also smart about the first episode too. Also had kind of a major local influencer who has a large audience.
Was that the first episode was just us.
Was it Well, maybe on Spotify.
Jordan doesn't listen to our podcast, so
no, I do listen to our podcast. You know what?
I get this. I do
Just to
understand
spite
this.
you, I would share my screen right now if the host hadn't disabled it. Out of spite, I would just want to prove you wrong. On Spotify, it lists the #1 episode as guest Seth Crossnow. Okay?
yeah, it's because when we switched
Second
it. But you should know. You should know.
Here we go.
As #2 in the podcast that was not our first episode.
I know, but I was like,
Do you
accusing
know?
of being gaslit by Spotify. You know,
No, it's because when we switched to Anchor,
That's
we switched to Anchor and they fucking tanked our analytics and they also fucked up our episode order, which was very frustrating.
Our
Okay,
sponsor,
so
Anchor.
Anchor's done wonders for us.
Yeah.
If you're
No,
looking for
Anchor-
a one-stop
sponsor.
shop for all
There
your
you go.
podcasting needs,
Anchor doesn't like us.
And
Anchor
it's
doesn't
free.
like us because we include music in our podcast, and they're like, "You're stealing this music," and I have to go
Oh,
in.
well, yeah. Okay.
I have to go in every single time and be like, "We can." It's critique.
Yeah.
We can do this. Like
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's
Is there a certain
interesting
amount of
that-
time? Like
Does-
it's like 45 seconds to a minute or something?
we
or is
do.
it doesn't matter?
We did 15 seconds. I took it down to 10 for when we moved to Anchor because that was the recommended amount. And even then, they're like their little scan bot every episode's like, we found this music that you can't have, and it's like, no, there's even a section, so it's like you can choose like, I have the rights to this music, I don't have the rights to this music, or you can choose this falls under like critique, fair use, all that stuff, because that's what we're
So it's
doing.
obnoxious then.
It's so annoying, dude. Every
But
episode
in the
I have
best
to
way
go in.
possible. Thanks, Anchor.
It is. I mean, it's a good dashboard. It's a
Pay
very
attention.
it's a very easy dashboard to do. It just takes a few seconds, but it's frustrating. But
Do you guys do YouTube as well?
no, because we know YouTube fucking hates us.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm sure they would lose their mind with the music.
I put one video of our live show on YouTube. I even put it unlisted because I'm like, hey, we're not trying to monetize this. Like, I just want to be able to send this to people on our Patreon. And YouTube was like, absolutely not. There's music in here. Like,
God.
yeah. So
Yeah, dude.
yeah. So that's
We're not making money off it.
we'd probably be way bigger if we could get around that.
I started uploading our Spencer cut. The other thing that's due to our success is that Spencer puts a lot of work into it. He edits and everything. The consistency more than anything. And I think any comic has had this conversation about like content creation or whatever, but it's just like, I'm not saying this about our podcast, but just in everything in general. It doesn't even need to be good. You just need to be consistent. And I think more than anything, we've been very consistent. Like he's up until 3 a lot on Monday mornings, Tuesday mornings, and making sure the episode goes up on Tuesdays. So it's to the point now that we like kind of have a good rhythm. The summers both summers have been very rough for us as far as numbers go, but I have started uploading the clips that he cuts for like TikTok and Instagram Reels. I upload to YouTube Shorts.
Oh,
It's
so it's
wild.
supposed to be kind of like a teaser, like a trailer, essentially.
On the flip side of that, shout out to past guest Jeff Toy, who told me about Facebook Reels.
I
You have
should
to
someone at
upload
the
separately
festival
to
here,
Facebook.
like they didn't even know about Facebook Reels, and honestly, until Jeff Toy said it, I didn't know about it.
I didn't
and so
either.
I was like showing people at the festival. I was like,
But
covered
it's
in
the
mud, and I
same
was
thing,
like,
Jordan, where it takes a couple minutes, might even take a day or two, but when it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
And now you
And I
can
really-
flip your Facebook account, because I hate Facebook. Like,
I
like
literally-
being
I
on
thought of-
Facebook.
I
But I was
sold
able
something.
to flip my account to where I'm like a half person, half business, to where I can exceed. So now it takes your friends and your followers and puts them all together, and people can follow you just from your reels. So I'm at like 10,000 followers on Facebook, and I'm not like a real.
Oh shit, you can.
Page
I'm gonna
anymore.
upload one right now.
Do it.
How do I launch
You got to do it from your phone. You got to do it from your phone.
Look at that. Look
Okay.
at that. I'm doing
Wow.
it.
You have a phone.
Look at
and
that
everything.
beautiful dead crow emblem in the back.
Dude, I featured for David Bowie this weekend and some of the hottest fucking crowds. It was awesome,
The
dude.
place is. I recorded my album there, man. We caught one. It was great.
The album that's coming out when? True.
It's out now.
Yeah.
This is when
Out
this
now.
episode-
Oh, yeah,
when
yeah,
this
'cause what
episode
is-
comes
yeah,
out.
Based
Get it
on a true story.
Yeah.
Yes. Get it now. Watch it on
Yes.
YouTube. Buy it on iTunes. Hopefully, I'm at number 1 right now. Who knows? You know,
I bet you it's going to be 6 weeks at number 1.
6 weeks in number 1. That's a lot of pressure.
It is. It's tight. Like if you have enough support, usually you can get your comedy album to number 1, which is tight. But it's always funny because it's like for a couple days, and then it's like Bo Burnham's back up there, baby.
Yeah.
Weird Al's greatest hits.
Yeah, man, it's so funny.
My first album I was able to get to number 1 when it debuted, and it was like Carmen Esposito. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember like her album also debuted the same day, and I just was like,
Go.
within 24 hours later.
I just want a
John Mulaney knocked
screenshot,
both
man.
of us out.
That's all. I just want a screenshot.
I got the
That number
screenshot.
one, that's
Yeah.
all. That's all.
I look at it every single night when I'm just laying in the mulch.
And mulch.
And this is all worth it.
Just
It's all worth it.
wiping the bugs off my phone.
Look
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
beautiful tie back in. All right, guys, you got anything coming up y'all want to talk about?
Nah.
No, I listen to Bopper Flop Pod, Spotify, Instagram, Stitcher, Titcher, Witcher, Ditcher.
Those are all real
Follow
songs.
Jordan's OnlyFans for his hot nips.
Please, or just my TikTok.
Same thing.
I'm at AKA Young Beefy on all social media. I don't think I have any shows coming up. I have a show tonight, but this episode's not.
Wait,
coming
who are
out
you?
today.
What are you doing tonight?
Oh, speaking of weird shows, Spencer's doing a house show with Clip Cash tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
dope.
Oh, you're doing one of the house shows. Oh,
I did
yeah.
one in Nashville, man. It's dope.
I'm doing an improv stand-up show.
Oh,
so
you're
it's
doing
like
with Matt White.
it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
4 rounds, and it's like a writing thing. So like the first round, it's just a couple rounds of like, here you have 3 minutes to write a premise around this. You have 3 minutes to write 3 one-liners around these 3 premises.
So you're
and stuff
holding
like
the audience hostage.
Yes,
Not knowing what
yeah.
stand up or improv or what's going
Yeah,
And then
I
that's
have
Friday
no
night at
idea.
Denny's.
on.
Friday night.
Actually, he gave us the address. I don't care what it's going to be like. I hope it's good, we hope with all shows. I don't know what it's going to be like because the address he gave me is like in Northeast Raleigh in like kind of a barren area. So I'm like, there's no bars. I think it's at Moonlight Stage Company. which
Oh,
is
yeah,
where
yeah,
he
yeah,
is. Um,
Done many a
I
show at
hope-
Moonlight.
yeah, I hope people show up.
I think
They
they
got a
will.
weird following, you know.
I think they
Yeah.
will.
Obviously, first and foremost, please listen to our podcast. If you like music or comedy or both, Jordan plugged it, but you can listen to everything at bopperflop.com. New episodes every Tuesday. Follow us on social media at bopperfloppod. For me, I'm hosting for Cliff Cash tonight at a house that is literally 2/10 of a mile from my house. which is tight.
Perfect. Even better.
So great, man. And then other than that, I've got a ton of stuff coming up. So
You got
August,
Mr. Festival Man over here.
dude, I made a joke in like February. I was like, I can't get into festival to save my fucking life. I even like made a meme and posted it, and I don't know. Honestly, I just finally got a good tape. Is really what it took. I was cursed for like the last year that anytime I would have a hot set, something
Never
would
taped
fuck
it?
up. No,
Yeah.
something would just fuck up with the tape.
Oh,
Yeah.
no way.
Like I did 8 weekends at the Improv last year, and every single time I would have a good set, the sound guy would be like, "I don't know what happened. Something's wrong
Oh,
with the
yeah.
audio." So like,
we had that at
there's-
Laughing Skull. Yeah. We
Yeah.
had we both had great sets, and they were like, "Yeah, we lost the audio." I'm like, it's like,
And I still try,
Oh,
in spite of it all,
dude.
still tried to submit that tape to some places.
Oh,
and
dude,
did
there's
not
a-
get it.
yeah, I still,
I-
yeah.
the OG tape I was using was a feature set I had at the Improv, and there's one point where I'm getting like a huge applause break after a joke, and I'm sitting there like soaking it in, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you guys, thank you all so much." To dead silence. Like you can hear like it sounds like one person is like,
Oh,
it's so
Love it.
bad, dude.
it feels
Um,
so good. I think
yeah.
Jake Head said I spent 8 years in comedy to get one tape. I think, like,
Dude, yeah.
It really feels that way. I mean, even dude, the Saturday Late Show I taped it in Wilmington. It was probably the best set I've ever had in my life, and a woman sat in front of the camera the entire set.
Oh, perfect.
So like the audio's hot as shit, and every now and then you'll see my head poke up from like around her big dumb head, but it's fucking ruined, which sucks.
Was she? Did she have like any split ends? Like was the hair? No,
the hair looked good.
Herself.
Yeah.
That's good. That's what's important.
Yeah.
Might be a funny tape to send to the right person.
I wonder if I could like explain it and be like, listen, you can hear they're loving it, like because it's the audio's hot. But,
imagine that submission tape where it's just like it's like a caption below, like, listen, just listen.
Yeah, I promise it's good. But no, I'll be, let's see, starting last weekend of September 30th through October 2nd, I will be in Durango, Colorado for the Four Corners Comedy Festival.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Just got denied from the Rogue Island Comedy Festival though. So
dude, I did too. Nice.
So I've been knocked down a peg.
Been a contributor for a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided to wait to get that rejection until next year.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm getting into all the entry level festivals, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens, but it's gonna be fun. If you want to see anything or get tickets, my website is godsfavoritecomedian.com. So
wow, you beat me to it.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Awesome, man. Well, shout out to Project Nerd for producing this podcast for us. Check everything out on projectnerd.com, where you also can find my special based on a Drew story.
Shout out to anchor.fm.
Yeah, our sponsors.
Our sponsor.
We love you.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Manscaped to get involved.
Have you emailed them back?
Daddy could use it. Huh? I just DM them on Instagram nonstop. I just send them pictures of my testicles.
Will's like, I will not shave my balls until you sponsor me. And guys, it's becoming a problem.
It's just left on red though. That's the kind of frustrating part.
All right, hit that subscribe button. We will see you next time.